Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to do another instructional video, because that is a huge part of what I do here on YouTube, despite what many of you may think. You know who you are. This is also a massive celebration because my Patreon page just hit that amazing $500 mark, which pushes me well into the four figures. I'm making them big bucks per year now, because that's important. It really is though, like my Patreon page allows me to make better videos. Sound quality is better, so huge thank you to all of my patrons, and in particular this video goes out to Matt. Matt asked the question, it was Matt that pushed me over that $500 mark, and Matt asked the question, how does Scotty Anderson move between chord positions when he is doing what it is that he does? Now, if you're unfamiliar with Scotty Anderson, I've talked about Scotty Anderson quite a lot on my channel, but let me just paste in a real quick clip now to show you what it is that Scotty Anderson does.
What I do on this, it's done various...
So yeah, that's what Scotty Anderson does. Now I'm going to put my hands up because I'm an honest guitar teacher. I can't do what Scotty Anderson does. I can't teach you to do what Scotty Anderson does because I can't do what Scotty Anderson does. If you want to learn to do exactly what Scotty Anderson does, or at least how Scotty Anderson does what he does, you go to Scotty Anderson for that. What I can tell you is that I understand what Scotty Anderson does incredibly well because I've transcribed over 20 Scotty Anderson tunes at this point. So I thought I'd bust out my Sir Telecaster with the Brent Mason pickups and stuff. I've not had this on camera in a very long time. And I would show you a few things. This could be massively useful for any of you guys out there for one simple reason. What it demonstrates to you is not just how to use these concepts, but how you can take concepts from players that are hugely influential to you, or you're a big fan of their playing, and apply them in your own playing in ways that you might not have initially expected they would come out. I play all of Scotty Anderson's double stop ideas, all of them, all of the time. I just don't play them the way he plays them or in the context he plays them in. But that's not to say that the concepts and the vocabulary aren't a big part of my playing. So, before I show you the lick that I've prepared for you, I'll just play to show you what I mean. So I do the double stop thing all the time, and when I'm doing it, if I'm... Definitely a lot of double stops in what I do. That's cool, and there's a lot of Scotty Anderson stuff in there. So why don't I break that down? Every time I play a double stop, it tends to be pick and the index finger, plucking the two notes at the same time. So if I were to play the 7th fret A and 6th fret D, I would play like that. And I could alternate between the D and G strings, sorry, the A and D strings, and then the D and G. Now these are just the notes of an E triad. So that double stop technique, that's how I'm doing that. That doesn't lend itself very practically to speed, but I can use this in a more melodic way when I'm comping, playing rhythm guitar, or just as a way of punctuating lines when I'm playing more blues-based improvisations. Again, if I'm thinking in E, I might play... whatever it is I happen to do, you know, who knows. So I have a cool lick to show you, but the interesting thing to talk about before you learn it is to understand the difference in approach when it comes to playing harmonies on the guitar. The way I see it is there are two obvious ways to do this. You have the academic way of doing things, which is where you might take a melody and you play that same melody but up a third. I've not really picked the best example here because it's quite tricky to play. But if you listen to a lot of Racer X recordings, you'll hear a lot of this type of thing, this wonderful clinical diatonic third harmony type thing. And that's great, but that's not what you hear when you listen to, for example, the Allman Brothers. That's a different sound. And that comes from a different approach. And that approach is to think more of the chord shape rather than the scale shape. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to blast through this real quick because it's not massively important to the lick. But there is a difference between seeing an E and harmonizing it in this way and seeing an E and harmonizing it in this way. One is scale-based. I'm harmonizing that diatonically. Every harmony is a third. But when I think chord shape, this is a third, major third, this is a minor third, this is a fourth, and this is a third again. So there's a fourth in there because I'm thinking of a chord shape. So that as a skill, just being able to take any sort of caged bar chord and being able to play I get carried away is a good thing to practice to help you visualize, because the licks I'm going to show you move between an open E, a C-shaped form, an A-shaped form, and then moving up to that E-shaped form again at the 12th fret. So let me show you the lick, because it's really about how you transition between these positions. So it's kind of three small licks, and each one is a way to get from one area of the neck to another. So if I'm in the open position, and this is something Scotty teaches on that video, if I'm in that open E chord, a lick that Scotty might play would sound like this. Obviously when he plays that, it's more... I don't play it like that though. So what am I doing there? I'm taking this open E chord form. I'm playing a double stop on the 2nd fret A and D string. I'm wanting to get to the D and G string. So I move to that via the 4th fret and the 4th fret on the A and D string again. Now, this isn't something that's being done from a theoretical perspective. If I was doing it from a theoretical perspective, I might play where I'm using more thirds. I'm not thinking of it like that. It's how can I get from A to B in a smooth sounding way? Sounds great. From there, I want to transition to this chord form. So I move up. I'm playing this diatonic third, 2nd fret D, 1st fret G. I move up to the next diatonic third, 4th fret D and 2nd fret G. I then move this up chromatically, and this finds me now in that chord form. Now if I try and hold these chord forms down, you can see that it's very much this chord form moving to this chord form. Very effective. Now we can use that as an approach to practice moving between any positions. I can play the C shape, and and do the same sort of thing. I play a double stop on the A and D, double stop from the chord on the D and G, move up diatonically, so I'm playing a third there, 7 and 6 on the D and G, again 9 and 7 on the D and G, 7 and 7 on the G and B, and then I'm going to move to 11 and 10 on the G and B, because this allows me to resolve to that chord form 9 and 9 on the G and B. So this. That's a melodic way of getting there. Bit out of tune there. That's better. Got to get those bends in tune. That's called being self-aware. When you make a mistake, actually being aware that you've made a mistake, rather than you just keep playing like everything's awesome. I can think of a few players like that. We won't talk about them in this video though. I'm better than that. Some might say it's not necessary. That was terrible. Anyway, so lick 1. Lick 2. And now here's lick 3, and I play this one all the time. Again, I begin around this A shape. I'm seeing the 9 and 9 on the G and B, and I want to get up to the 12th fret. So I play 9 and 9, 11 and 10, move up chromatically to 13 and 12. Then I can hit the 12th fret on the high E string. And the thing Scotty does all the time is then to lower that note to that flattened 7. So you get this. And again, you know, Scotty's playing that more. And I was going to say I'm not even going to embarrass myself by trying to do it. I just tried and I embarrassed myself. Don't try this stuff if you're not Scotty Anderson. Scotty Anderson is a freak of nature. He can do anything. I cannot do anything because I am not Scotty Anderson. So, 3 licks. This. Now, each one of those sounds very much like an E chord. Getting a bit carried away, and there's some pretty ropey notes in there. But again, self-awareness is the key. So it's really about just getting used to how you connect these positions. When you can start to see this, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this, then you can change the chord form and be able to connect these very easily. Again, if I can see A, I can see A here, I can see A here, and I can see A here. If I'm playing an A, don't love them ropey notes. So, 1,000,001 things that you can do with these. And I cannot recommend highly enough checking out Scotty's albums on Bandcamp so you can really hear some of these ideas being used in incredibly musical ways. He is one of the greats of our time, and there is a lot that can be learned from him even if you're unable to do what he does in the way he does it. Well recommended that you check his stuff out. So, lastly, I just want to extend, obviously, a huge thank you to my patrons over on patreon.com. These guys all support me, names there, support me at a $10 tier. And that makes a huge difference in my life. Massive difference. It makes my videos better. It doesn't pay my mortgage or anything like that. It's not about putting money in my pocket. It's about putting money into my YouTube, investing into making better content for you guys. So if you like the content I make and you want me to keep making more and better content, you don't want me to be one of these tomatoes that you find on YouTube, the best way to do that is support me on Patreon. And if you would like to do that, as I say, you can do so for, well, actually, you can do so for as little as $1. Gets you access to my private patron-only Facebook group. Lots of fun things going on in there. Like this is a lesson for Matt. So if you are interested in joining us over there, you can do so by clicking this button up here, supporting me for as little as $1. But you don't need to do that. Don't feel obliged to do that. Get involved in the comments, hit that like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel by clicking this button down here, or check out 2 more of my videos here and here. There's a lot of content here. It's all free, and I hope you find something you enjoy, because I put a lot of time into it, because I love it. So, peace out guys, and I'll see you for another video soon. Bye!